game. So, but for now, let's go in game and introduce our players. As soon as we go in game, we just get network spikes. I really don't know why. It's a little bit sad. I really don't want to have to go reset the internet. Anyways, let's continue with this and introduce our players in the upper left corner of the map. I swap the players around. There we go. We're going to introduce our purple Terran player from AT Gaming. It's uThermal. I know you guys still want to see Morrow, but he wasn't going into a game yet. It doesn't make sense to delay the stream to wait for a game that we don't know how long it's going to take to start. I promise, when we have the chance to go into a Morrow game, we'll go into a Morrow game. In the bottom right corner of the map from is Imber, we're going to have Garage Rail, aka Verdi. I'm just going to call him Verdi here in this series because it's a little bit easier than saying Garage Rail every single time. And once again, just I'm trying everything, guys. I'm gonna make sure everything I don't need open is closed. I'm trying to try closing everything I don't need open. Twitter, get rid of that. I've paused my stream, minimized XSplit. There's nothing more I can do at this point to fix these spikes. Gateway on the way down here for Verdi. Looks as though it's just going to be a gasless, well not gasless, but one gas expand here from him to start off this game, start off this series. uThermal on the other side of the map, going to be going into 12-12 and going to be opening in with a Reaper. Nothing surprising about that. I say 12-12, I mean 12 racks, 12 gas, not 12 racks, 12 racks. I guess is what you'd usually mean if you said something like that. So 12 racks, 12 gas, nothing surprising. Reaper on the way, as you really do want to get up here in this TVP matchup. I mean, it's a nice map to go Reaper on as well, because there's a few ways in, so you can try and, you know, trick your opponent into being somewhere else when you jump in to try and get that scout a little bit later. But yeah, cool. So, nothing too surprising here. That Reaper on the way out right now. We actually do see a second gas from Verdi though, so not the one gas expand I was maybe expecting from him. He puts 3 workers in it as well, so potentially, you know, definitely potential for aggression here. And I mean, this map, you know, it does smell a little bit of blink because, I mean, natural, you know, you poke in here with blink stalkers, you back away very quickly, you come around, you loop around, blink into the main. It can be very, very powerful, so that's something uThermal has to be kind of aware of here as he moves across the map with this Reaper. Gonna look to see what is going on, what is happening, and he's going to immediately recognize no early Nexus. He's also going to be able to see the double gas most likely as he pops in. Depends how much he commits with the Reaper if he really runs in here. But he sees no Nexus, and I think for now no Nexus is pretty much all he really needs to see, because not seeing a Nexus now probably suggests at this point in time that second gas is on the way. So this Reaper does jump in and he actually dodges around the mothership core there just to confirm that there's double gas down, and he will be able to get out of there. Right now as well, taking a lot of damage on that Reaper, but just surviving on 2 hit points. That Zealot nearly being a hero, taking down the Reaper would have been huge. uThermal's going to risk poking in here just to see if there is a Nexus on the way. And indeed, there is. So whatever tech is coming out of Verdi is not going to be off of one base, but it's still going to come down pretty quickly after his Nexus, because he's got a lot of gas already banked up here. Already a second Stalker on the way, and I guess this could be a little bit indicative of the potential to go in towards a you know, a blink follow-up if he's already building up his Stalker count right now. He could just try and move across the map with a Zealot and a couple of Stalkers too, but that will leave him open to attack from this Reaper, so he has to be a little bit careful with what he decides to do. Reaper just continue to poke around here, and it's actually going to be a very fast robot facility coming down for Verdi as his choice of tech here in this game. On the other side of the map, uThermal has added on the factory. That's just finished up, and the starport now being added in as well. It means he's going to be going for this 1-1-1 opening, which is so common in TVP, of course. He's already invested into an engineering base, so he can build turrets if necessary, because again, he's not 100% sure what he's up against right now. He did just jump in with the Reaper though, and he did scout that robot facility coming down, so now he knows what's going on, he knows what is happening, and he knows what you know, he knows what to be expecting here potentially in this game. But having been scattered, Verdi actually switches straight towards the Twilight Council, so he might just be looking to play a little bit of trickery here against uThermal. He's just scanning around for a pylon or two right now with these Marines. Might be waiting for some Stalkers to poke the front so you can come in and flank as well. There's a possibility, but it's getting to the point in the game where if Stalkers did come across the map, there'd be a few too many of them for that number of Marines to really be able to take on. A few more Marines popping out here, and there's going to be 4 Marines and 2 mines available to jump into that medevac. Tubblevax now on the way down as the follow-up, of course. Expecting him to play bio would be very weird to see him not playing bio here in this game. uThermal's never really been a guy to experiment with mech and TVP at least. So nothing really crazy there. A couple of mines getting loaded up. He's not going to take his Marines in the medevac across the map with him. Looks at this early robo facility was actually just because of just to get an observer out, and there is that blink coming up behind this. So Verdi not doing anything aggressive at all with this 2 gas opening, just really wanted to have that robo as soon as he could against the potential Widow mines which are going to be coming in here. And a lot of Marines moving across the map as well. Of course, there is a mothership core with a lot of energy, so the potential to just very simply drop that front and overcharge to defend the natural is going to be there. There's a lot of stalkers too, so uThermal has to be very careful. As, I mean, I don't really know if he's really going to find a way to do too much damage. Looks as though the medevac might try and boost in towards the main base. The observer already spotting for that Marine force in the front. And the medevac heading towards the main, but the stalker's in the way in to intercept this. uThermal turns around, he's just going to try and drop this in the natural instead, and he's just going to drop these mines down. The probe's already having to be pulled. So mothership core taking a lot of damage. It does have energy on it, and it will go down here, so that's a lot of energy he's going to lose out on. Where Widow mine's killing off a few probes. He's going to keep committing forwards here with these Marines, going to continue picking off as many probes as he can. He's actually doing a lot of damage with this attack, and that's going to be a couple more workers going down here before this attack gets cleaned up. 11 workers killed, but uThermal loses absolutely everything, and now the real problem is going to be, can he hold on the counterattack from Verdi? You know what, I kind of feel like he probably can. There's only 2 gateways up from Verdi, so it's not like he can continue warping in a lot more stalkers once he's on this other side of the map, although the pylon is already on the way. And we've also got another Widow mine coming in towards the natural, so Verdi, if he rallies these 2 stalkers across the map, he might be taking some more worker damage, and so uThermal, all he really has to do is survive here. First 2 Marauders pop out, and that makes things a lot easier for him already. And this medevac thinking about where exactly he wants to go. These stalkers coming across here. Observer on the way as well, so he could blink in towards the main base. Now the tech lab barracks are a little way away, so it is definitely possible for them to, you know, they could be sniped, but it's not going to be the easiest snipes in the world. In fact, the reactor is the most likely thing to be sniped down here, either on the factory or on the barracks. And uThermal's down again to a position just to make sure he's going to be able to defend against this in case the blink comes in. He's, again, with this Marauder, should be okay, although he unloads his mine. He's going to start sending that across the map. Sorry, we missed, this mine did go off in the main base or somewhere. Only 1 worker killed, though. It's not too much happening. Looks as though uThermal realizes what's going on here, and he realizes the dangers of this, as his opponent just blinks on top of him right now. And I think he might have to pull some SCVs into this to be able to hold on. He's going to lose the reactor on the factory. That's, of course, meant for the starport, so he can start reactoring out his medevacs here. Verdi's just going to blink down to the low ground. 1 stalker just getting away there in the end. And Verdi going to change direction. He's going to come towards the natural now instead. Bunker is up here though. SCV's pulled. And uThermal will defend here at least. Did he kill off that observer? No. Just scanning to see exactly how much is coming in here. Another scan, keeping an idea of where his opponent might be coming in from. Again, SCVs are going to start repairing this bunker, but it's going to go down. uThermal's getting stim though, and the longer he survives here, the better. He's ahead in workers, which isn't really meant to happen right now in TVP. You know, at this point in the game, you expect the pros to be ahead because, you know, double mule working is going to give the Terran player that bit of an advantage. Anyway, uThermal picking up into his medevac here, a little bit of a mistake. The mine on the way out to try and help as well. He's taking some damage on his command center. Loses one of his refineries. He's about to get stim though, and with stim, I think he can probably fight against this because he's done a good job of retaining units more than anything. He's kept a lot of his Marauders alive, a lot of his medevacs alive, and so stimming in here is going to be definitely something he can, you know, do to take this fight. And at the same time, Verdi is splitting up his units. He's going to start taking fights which are favourable to him, and these stalkers blinking away. This is really nice, just harassing all over this place. As a Widow mine goes off, these Marauders trying to do their best against these stalkers in the front. Is there enough here for uThermal? He's going to have to pull SCVs once again, losing so much mining time because of this happening again and again and again. Finally cleans up this attack into the back, and Verdi will stop committing into this. Behind this though, Robobay is down. First Colossi starts up in production, Forge as well. And yeah, for now it looks as though uThermal is going to be able to push this back, and well, he's actually ahead in supply, which is kind of standard I suppose for Terran. He's down a few workers. I mean, the worker count overall here is going to be pretty much evening out to what you'd expect it to be. The Pros player a few workers ahead, and that's going to be evened up by the potential of mules from the Terran. Terran has a +1 upgrade advantage though, and that means he might be able to get something done as he moves across the map here. If he gets, you know, unloaded into the main base and gets a good concave, this robo facility is going to be one of the first things that dies. So Verdi has to be very, very careful here, not to get dropped upon. A scan from uThermal. We're going to see that Colossus joining the army. Will he decide to fight right now? These stalkers have to be careful. They don't want to blink into this too over-eagerly. uThermal, does he think he can take this? He's going to burrow these couple of Widow mines. He needs to keep splitting these units realistically if he wants to make something happen with them. And Well, second class is halfway done. He's going to start committing forwards here. The Stalker's in the front, the Zealot's in the back, and that's not going to be a good engagement for Verdi at all, as these Zealots now do start to move forwards. Of course, there's Widow Mines here, and that's going to mean that if they go off, it's going to really soften up the Zealots, and it allows this Marine Marauder force to keep pushing forwards. With so many medevacs in the sky here, it's going to be a real tough job for Verdi to work his way through this, especially with that +1 advantage of the town. There's just so many Marauders in too good of a concave right now. He moves forwards into a bit of a choke point, but it doesn't matter because the Colossus goes down. Verdi leaves the game, and uThermal is going to take game number 1 here in this best of 3. So uThermal taking a pretty decent game, number 1, and we're going to be jumping into game 2 here in just a couple of moments time, guys. How's everyone doing? Again, sorry for, I mean, we're having continued lag spikes. I just don't know why. I just do not know why. We're going to jump into game 2 here in a couple of moments time. We're waiting for uThermal or Verdi to host this up for us so we can jump in and join into it. uThermal 1-0 now in this series. This is the round of 32, so advance through here, and you only have to advance 3 more rounds. 32, 16, and 8. Yeah, 3 more best of 3s after this. uThermal gets his invite to the game, so let's just snipe that real ID invite. And uThermal hosted. Cool. And we jump into Iron Fortress here for game 2 of this best of 3 TVP between uThermal and Verdi. What's going on in the chat? Mine's Santi are a really good team. Damn right they are. Probably the best foreign team right now. Apart from, I guess, Liquid are probably a bit of a stronger foreign team. I don't know, like, it depends if you only consider the foreign lineup or not. Yeah, I guess if you consider only foreign lineup, Liquid have the strongest foreign team. If you include the Koreans, I think you have to say Mine Santi, because Rain's just a little bit too good right now. Just a little bit. You know, he's only the GSL champion. You know, he only 4-1'd Buell in the GSL finals. You know, everyone does that, right? Guys, we're loading into Iron Fortress here for game 2 of this best of 3. In the top left corner of the map, from 80 Gaming up 1-0 right now in the best of 3 round of 32 here of the WCS Qualifier. It is going to be 80 Gaming's uThermal. And down to the bottom right from Is Imbo, we're going to be having the blue props player. It's Verdi. Iron Fortress has a much different map to what we just saw on Terraform. I mean, the blink attack, you know, if you go blink on this map, there's still a bit of a potential to kind of attack here and blink up here, but it's a lot easier, I feel, for the Terran player to switch between and to kind of sit on this ramp and decide where he wants to go. So there's not really going to be that much potential for aggression. Great map for drops, of course. You can have a lot of space to drop in towards this main base, and, you know, a gap to kind of escape over so you can't be blinked upon by stalkers. And same happens over towards the natural here, and the third base is pretty droppable as well. You know, access between the third and main isn't, you know, too easy. You know, it's not too difficult to get, but it's not too easy either. So it's not, you know, it's not the best map for drops. There's no kind of space behind the mineral line here to hide medevacs, so it's not the best, but it's not the worst. And the large map in general, I think large maps in general kind of actually favour Terran players right now in the metagame, because honestly, I mean, in the way things go right now, I mean, Terran's just so drop heavy that if you have a larger map, there's so many more ways in which you can get into that main base. You can get medevacs around the map. Okay, it takes the medevacs a little bit longer to get across the map, but, you know, there's so many ways you can kind of slip by observers and not let them observers see where exactly you're going to be coming in from, etc, etc. So I kind of feel like larger maps are a little bit better for Terran. The one good thing for pros is, of course, it takes a little bit longer to push across the map, but that's kind of good for the Terran player too, especially in these cross spawns, because, you know, if you're busy dropping, if the pros player says, right, I've had enough of this, let's go all in one push to try and win the game, it's going to take him forever to get over there. You have so much time to just do damage that it's almost kind of completely not even worthwhile for the pros player to opt to go for that. I mean, often it isn't anyways, but it can be a desperation move sometimes that can put you into a bit of a tricky position. This SCV going to be scouting around in this main base right now, finds his opponent in the second location he scouts, of course, cross map. That's what you would kind of expect. And this SCV just going to be leaving now, as Azal gets a couple of swipes away onto it there. Reaper on the way across the map from uThermal, and he's just going to be coming across looking to see what he might be able to achieve. Again, guys, another lag spike there. I'm so sorry, I just can't do anything about it. I don't know what it is. Reaper just checking around, sees no natural just yet. It's once again a double gas opening from Verdi. Not rushing workers into gas though, so it's not like he, again, it's probably the same as the last game. He wants to expand, and he's already got the minerals too. He's not rushing into it at all. This Reaper wants to try and grab that probe, of course. If you can kill the probe and deny the expansion a little while longer, that'd be nice, but he actually goes onto the Zealot instead. And Verdi will get his Nexus down. This Reaper just continuing to move around for uThermal, just continuing to see what's up, what's happening. And of course we'll, in a little while, probably about the 6-minute mark, want to try and jump up this location here to try and head in towards the main base for that scout. Back at home, he's going for the exact same follow-up as he did in game number 1. Factory is down, Wooderman will begin building, and Natural will finish to get him out of that 27/27 supply block. Starport adding on here for uThermal. And again, pretty much exactly what you would expect at this point in the game. And again, from Verdi, it's pretty much looking to be the same build right now. The rubber facility comes down pretty quickly here. He hasn't scouted at all, so he doesn't know where his opponent is yet. He's going to try and just run past this mothership core. He's going to try and get up here and scout. He will actually be able to click on this gate, on this robo, and he does see that it's a robo facility. So uThermal figures out exactly what's going on right now from his opponent. He knows exactly what he's up against, and he knows that his opponent is popping down that extra gateway as well. So this is good information. Verdi's Nexus will finish at the natural now, and again, the next real action in this game is really going to be when this medevac comes across the map from uThermal with the mines inside of it. The Marines cross map, going to take them a while to get over there if they do want to push. Of course, last time around, uThermal did do 11 workers worth of damage, lost all of his army for it, but you know, he was able to just about hold on to the blink follow-up. And again, the most important thing of that was he preserved his units, which made his follow-up, you know, his counter-attack once he had stim, so powerful, you know, because if that blink attack comes across the map, he loses marauders here and there, he loses a couple of medevacs. When he then tries to counter, you know, he doesn't mind how many ITVs he got. When you counter, you just don't have enough army to push through and win like he did. So it's a little bit crazy. Of course, he had +1 as well when he pushed across the map. And well, let's see what happens here. This medevac continue to push across here, and the Marines are coming through the centre of the map as well, so very much the same situation as in that last game. Observer will be out. In fact, 2 observers already out, 1 in the main base, 1 just outside the natural, watching for these Marines as the medevac is looping around, and he's going to come in from the north side of the natural. And let's see what damage can be achieved over here. uThermal coming forward. Won't quite see that observer just yet, I don't think. He does run his Marines underneath it, which makes it a little bit easier to see. Throw an overcharge propped here straight away, and the mine's going to come in. uThermal doesn't care, he just wants to get these workers, and he's going to see how many he can pick off. It's not going to be too many though. And these Wooder mines burrow once again. Oh no! It's just not going to be in range of the probes all stacking up there. Medevac is surviving this time around. He's going to actually be able to boost away. Won't be caught by these stalkers unless he forgets about it. And now uThermal actually making a bit of a mistake. He's going to end up losing the medevac. And that's a mistake he shouldn't have made. That was a medevac which was free to go. He was going to get away with that. Losing it is a little bit of a shame. Nowhere near as much damage done this time around. 1 single worker killed, and uThermal loses everything. It's a very kind of, I hate to say it, but a very YOLO move, really. Like, you know, you kind of hope you just kill a bunch of workers, but if your opponent defends well, then, you know, if your opponent defends well, then you're actually in a bit of a crappy spot because you just threw away all of your early army to achieve not very much. Next, mine and medevac will head across the map here, look to try and get something done, I suppose. An observer coming through the centre, and we'll just be looking to see what is going on, but doesn't see anything at all in the centre of the map. Medevac turns around and picks up the second mine, and he's actually going to head in towards the main base here, but the Stalker's in position. Blink being chrono boosted out, so he has to be very careful with what he actually tries, how much he commits to this medevac. I'd put money on the fact that he probably will lose this if he goes anywhere past this point of the base. It's kind of always a definite. These rocks have apparently pissed off Verdi enough to for him to kill them off there, and he will just target that down. And this medevac is still just coming along the bottom side of the map, and again has that potential to boost in towards the main base here, if you would like to. More Marines and Marauders coming through the centre. No stim just yet, so You know, he's not really looking to do damage immediately here. Verdi will see this medevac with this observer, and so we'll begin to pull stalkers forwards. I like what he's doing though. He's going to keep them back, and he's going to be able to see when this medevac moves forwards. And when it moves forwards and gets to here, he'll blink underneath it and pretty much guarantee the kill. Even with the 5th command center on the way. He's already on 5 racks, so again, he's just getting in towards his mid-game. It's pretty standard time for the 3rd base. Nothing surprising right now. This Stalker going to blink away before he gets caught by any concussive shells, although concussive shells not on the map just yet, so it's not going to be too big of a factor. uThermal sees that power near and realizes that Verdi probably going to be a little bit too good actually, so a lot of respect for his opponent. Just turns around with his medevac, realizes he's not going to get damage done. That scan comes down on the natural to try and see what's going on, and he just sees that Forge Chrono boosting away there. It is +1 armor. Now the most interesting thing to talk about is probably the Templar Archives coming down for Verdi. He's not going to be playing a Colossi style of play here. He's going to be adding on Immortals and playing kind of Immortal Archon with Storm. So a little bit of a different play style, and honestly the Widow Mining production, which is continuing here from uThermal, is going to be very, very effective, because without Colossi, there's not really a lot which is very good at cleaning up the Widow Mines from a distance. Okay, the Stalkers are to some extent, but they'll probably have to go close enough to actually engage into the bio. So it's going to be quite interesting here to see how Verdi makes this work. There's a reason that this isn't super popular. But again, we'll see if he can make it work. uThermal with his +1 about to finish up here. And he's, again, continuing to add Mines, Marauders, Marines. 3 SCVs at a time, just getting that 3rd base saturated right now back at home. And Verdi will, of course, just be waiting here. Now, he does scan, he sees 2 Immortals now, and immediately that's going to be something a little bit different, you know. Why Immortals? You know, why are you building these instead of, you know, going into Colossus? Why are you using your Robo Facility building time to build those? So that's questions that uThermal will already be asking himself, probably. No Storm just yet, though. As he scans, he's going to see that Templar now. Of course, he doesn't know if Storm is finished or not, so he has to be a little bit careful about coming in towards a fight. We will borrow just a single mine here, and if you can just get one hit, soften up them Zealots, or even just the Stalkers, that'd be nice. He is just going to grab a Stalker and make a little bit of damage on these Zealots. Robo Bay is on the way up, so the sec switch into Colossi will happen at some point in the near future. Extra racks on the way for uThermal, going up to 8 in total now. Ghost Academy on the way down as well, and again, he's just continuing on with his kind of, you know, what you would expect a Terran to do in the mid game right now. A single Marine stims forwards, and we'll just see that 3rd base being placed, and we might see a bit of an engagement here. uThermal's going to see this army starting to come forwards. 3rd base cancelled. He has so many mines to fall back on, and that's the real problem here. As does he not have concussive shells? Okay, he does. But this Zealot's just going to be able to get away with his life anyway. It's very fortunate, Zealot, as the first Ghost started getting on as well. uThermal just checking out, seeing what's going on here. Does he think he can fight this? I don't think he can. +2 armor is about to finish up, and with +2 armor on these Zealots, it's going to be very, very difficult. Although that being said, these Widow Mines, if they can connect with the Zealots, could be very, very effective. The Widow Mines probably have to... Oh, miss Storm! Them 2 Storms were not good at all. There is another one down on the low ground, or another couple down on the low ground here available. He's just trying to bait these Zealots in towards these mines right now. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to get that, you know, a lot of this kind of tankiness of the Protoss army kind of, you know, get rid of it just very early on in this. No Observer in range means that these Widow Mines aren't dying off to the Photon Overcharge here. And uThermal just kiting backwards and forwards as the Storm will actually pick up another mine. That mine will soften up a lot of them Zealots, and again, that's exactly what uThermal wants. Get rid of the shields, soften them up, take away the hit points away, and it means you can get towards those juicier units a lot faster in the game. +1 armor coming in for uThermal soon, so the upgrade's going to even up somewhat. And now he has to be a little bit careful. His Widow Mines, oh, another connection there. So many Zealots, though. How many Zealots is this? 23 Zealots. A lot of Marauders in this army for uThermal, which are good for concussive shells, but again, in terms of actual damage output, they're not going to do the best against Zealots. This is another mine, doesn't really achieve loads here, and uThermal going to have to kite away. These Widow Mines will get picked off, as the Observer is actually just out of range of this next one. And Verdi, of course, the main thing that uThermal has done here is, you'll notice he hasn't really committed to an engagement. It's very much just been a game of, you know, cat and mouse for him, you know, poke forwards and then pull away. And he's just keeping Verdi away from taking a 3rd base. That's the real goal right now. The longer he stays on 3 bases and his opponent's on 2, the better this gets for him. Colossus tech switch on the way in, +3 armor and +1 attack. But, Verdi, I mean, okay, he's going to have great upgrades, but if you just don't have enough, you're just going to get swarmed over by the Terran player. uThermal with an armory on the way. His own 2-2 is going to be delayed because of the lack of that armory for a little while here. He's got a couple of Ghosts now, so he will be able to potentially come in here and throw down some EMPs. He drops one onto a couple of them Immortals and some of the Zealots here. For an overcharge used once again, and Yen just pushing forwards and just looking to see what he can get done. Another couple of EMPs available. We're going to see some feedbacks as he actually no scans to the high ground, so he actually EMPs both of those Templar. And this Marine Marauder force, he's going to have to just burrow those mines. Once he burrows the mines, I don't think Verdi's got anything at all here to really deal with this. He's lost all his splash damage. He hasn't really landed any storms at all in this game. And this is why it's such a tricky opening to play, because you rely so much on your kind of spell placement to be able to take it. And uThermal's just going to crush through this. He's shown us why he's kind of considered one of the better foreign Terran players right now, and why he's just kind of completely dominated this game from start to finish. Verdi leaves once again, and that will